cause I haven't like.
People for the talk.
I've not emailed.
So it's.
Are you selling online or doing like?
Yeah, well, not really much. I do have a, like I own the domain and stuff like that. I just put it on the website, but haven't really done a lot.
It's okay. Sometimes just having
Well, that's what I'm wondering. My sister bought the handbag.
Well,
Oh, really?
I think they're able to sell the products as long as they were named.
It was at Thanksgiving, she was asking. It was like, how
And we got March
they come out in
31st in
Texas.
head because
And he
that's
wanted
when
me to
the
bring it home
license
because
and then
it
it
was
ends.
Yeah, so I was like,
Yes.
everything.
Yes.
And that's
But
I wanted to
I
that.
looked at
I'm
those
like,
things
oh, it was,
today, and
I
there's
know.
I have it marked on the
updates
side
and
of like,
stuff.
well,
I need it.
okay, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that was nice.
About
Yeah,
50,
right.
well, I guess not, but.
Josh, did my notes make any sense and then stuff? Especially the workforce one, I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, she does really good.
Yeah.
How do we know?
And technically with the, sheriff and police to. Well, because there's. Because we don't have any license. So they're, I mean, once they're licensed, then yes, they have the ordinance is set through. But we're not. Oh, no, it's pretty good. I like how it's going on, but, right.
Cause when I first.
How do we know?
Yeah, right.
I mean, it comes down to OCM's.
Did you actually stay home for the snow last
If
week?
they're impending status.
Really?
Then it's
Oh.
fine.
So, yeah.
If they're rejected.
It was cold down there, it was like that.
Yeah.
Like, I hope we didn't.
I probably
But yeah, both those meetings are.
Even when there's a travel advisory.
Oh,
How did you get
Yeah.
stuck in a big chair on both these?
My son's yes.
Right. Monday.
I feel like he obviously knows.
Well, we opened.
What helps, he's on this.
We'll have to keep an eye.
So it was better.
So what helps.
I was probably maybe.
And that's, and that's what I feel like too, maybe. Education.
Wait, his book, we got.
How are you?
Good.
You guys can look for more choices.
Is that the gist of what you said?
I didn't. Get on the line, get your buddies here. Get on the line and get your buddies here. There's important decisions to be made.
I know that.
The numbers were just spewing everywhere.
I'm not sure what I think about them yet.
That.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's my whole. Reach out to that person and then figure out.
Yeah.
I sent out emails today because one person there is the state. Yeah. I've gotten two responses.
Yeah, so.
That's what they all want.
Kansas City.
Can't tell you that.
I'm sure she's experienced that before.
The city and
Uh,
and we were able to get some.
gonna line those.
Yeah, eventually it'll work itself
Looking
out.
at the resume.
18
And I just,
Finally, work out,
and this is years ago, and I think a year ago, it was like 12 or 13 hours. And it's a whole ballpark.
That time of the year.
oh, I saw that email about, what was it?
Because the new, Chiefs Stadium is just.
Is there an organization? Yeah, that was provided one.
Oh, like up the.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
And I'm like, okay, what? And
We
then
always used to head to the Branson. So, we stopped there and we know.
How many computers do you
and
own?
then
Like 90?
No, I think right now it's
Is it, oh, it's 4 years, isn't it? Because it used to be.
Like 3 and 4 better. That would be positive, right?
so we need to like, you know, because this drain that Emma.
But I'm really good at set up.
A hospital with the
Indeed.
Yeah, set up.
And I'm cheap.
Sure, more than a regular.
Whatever. If they talk about.
I just like they did in 91.
Or maybe there's just some. Yeah, there's never a time to do it.
Right, like, hey, what,
Whatever.
It just keeps going.
I can breathe. Okay, let's get back in.
Through the, what, to the group. There's no method.
I'll call the Tuesday, March 24th, Seal County Board meeting to order and ask you to join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any changes to the agenda? Board's wishes?
I'll move the approval of the agenda as printed.
Second.
Motion to second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Public comment. If you wish to share your thoughts, please provide your name and address. After being acknowledged by the board chair, each speaker has 2 minutes to express his or her remarks. Seal County promotes respect in both its work environment and boardroom. Speakers should maintain dignity and show respect towards others. Comments should be directed to the entire board, not to an individual commissioner, official, or staff. The board chair may limit comments if they're argumentative, disrespectful, or redundant. Please avoid name calling and abusive language, as this may result in being asked to return to your seat or to leave the boardroom. No action will be taken on items presented during the public comment period unless they are on the agenda. The board may refer some inquiries to the county administrator for follow-up. Is there any public comment at this time?
Melissa Zimmerman, 2525 Stony Creek Drive. This weekend, several volunteers and I spent 3 days at the Four Seasons building during the Farm and Power Show, collecting hundreds of reverse referendum signatures and talking with people. But that's not what stayed with me. What stayed with me was the struggle to access the building. Over and over again, we watched elderly farmers, many using walkers, struggle at the curb. We opened doors for them. We helped them navigate the curb, up and down. We stood nearby because we honestly were worried someone was going to fall. There were mothers and daycare providers with strollers who needed help, elderly couples where one was struggling and the other was quietly grateful that someone was there. And then there was the man on the scooter. He couldn't access the east side of the building at all. And that was the moment it hit me. Not just, this could be better, but this isn't working. These people could barely get from the car to the door. Walking around the building to find a ramp was not an option. This weekend provided many opportunities to step in and help, not because we had to, but because that's what community is all about. We didn't just collect signatures, we were there physically helping people, and the reality is, that's what we do. Not always visible, not always recognized, but present. We talked to so many people this weekend, people who came from far and wide, people who just had stories to share. We even talked tractors. It may surprise you that my favorite tractor is a 1950s Ford 8N. Many thanked us for what we were doing, even those from out of state. But the most impactful interactions were with the people right here in Steele County. The people who built this community and couldn't even access the building. They showed up anyway because the events mattered to them, because this community matters to them. They deserve better. And the truth is, 2 changes could fix this. Not just for the farmers, but for everyone who visits our community. First, we can replace part of the curb with an ADA compliant ramp, where people are actually entering. Second, we can install automatic door buttons. Simple changes, real impact. I'm sure the Four Seasons building is technically ADA compliant, but this weekend showed that minimum compliance isn't enough. Accessibility isn't about meeting the minimum, it's about whether people can actually participate safely and with dignity. You're going to keep seeing me show up, advocating for this community and their rights, environmental, financial, ADA, because at the end of the day, this is about people, and I care about protecting them. We can do better, and we should. Thank you.
Thanks, Melissa. Is there any other public comment? Is there any other public comment? Seeing none, we'll move forward to correspondence. Is there any correspondence?
No, there is none.
Consent agenda, board's wishes.
Mr. Chair, I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda as printed.
Second.
Motion to second, is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Number 18, approve the 2026 local homeless prevention aid award recommendations. You should just stay up here. Ethan, welcome.
Thank you.
2025 received $147,902 of local homeless prevention aid funding. State requires that to be spent by the end of 2026. So we went through the RFP process to solicit applications. We received applications from Semtech, Steele County Transitional Housing, and Lighthouse of Southern Minnesota. And based on the selection criteria, staff got together to review the applications and are recommending to fund Semtech $60,000, Transitional Housing $60,000, and Lighthouse $30,000 this April to November.
Board's wishes?
Mr. Chair, I'll move the approval of the 2026 Homeless Prevention Aid Awards as recommended by Public Health, and just with the caveat that those three agencies do an amazing amount of work in Steele County, and the funds will be used well.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All same sign, motion carries.
Thanks.
Thanks, Ethan. Informational item in the packet is the Public Works Committee meeting minutes and the Public Safety and Health Committee minutes. Commissioner reports.
I have a couple updates for the board regarding some pending lawsuits that the county is involved with. First, the county board entered into a lawsuit against the Commission on Corrections regarding a law that was enacted by the legislature regarding jail medications. I represent the county in that suit and appeal, along obviously other counties are involved in that as well. That case went to the Court of Appeals on an appeal of the temporary restraining order or denial of it. So while it is in effect at this time, but the oral argument went to the Court of Appeals last week, so we expect a decision in the next roughly 90 days from the Court of Appeals and to see what it's sent back to district court or not. On the side issue of that, the Minnesota Sheriff's Association and this group that is the lawsuit is actively engaged with the legislature to seek a fix of the law that would be amenable to both sides. It sounds like just prior to this meeting that there's been movement on that, so I'm hopeful that the legislature will actually fix that issue. So in theory, drop the lawsuit because it will be fixed. Any questions on that? Second, we received an appeal of the board's decision to not seek an EIS of the Eastside Corridor. It's a unique appeal because we don't go to district court, it goes right to the Court of Appeals. Appeal of the board's decision. And so MCIT has provided us coverage. Then we pay the legal bill minus the deductible. So that is good for the county to receive that coverage. The appeal does not prevent the project from progressing. So the MCIT has assigned Jason Kulichek out of his partner at Iverson Law, excellent attorney for the county, and Renee and I met with him this week. He's expecting a decision from the Court of Appeals probably 6 to 9 months out. Like I said, it does not prevent the project from moving forward, but would essentially, Court of Appeals would decide whether the board made a proper decision on not seeking an EIS. So there's questions on that. You can individually ask me about that, or we can connect you with the county's attorney, or the county MCI's attorney they hire. Other than that, that's all the updates I have.
Thank you, Rob. Great.
March 12th, I went to the Southeast Emergency Services meeting and Workforce Development meeting in Rochester. On the 16th, we had an emergency county board meeting for a declaration of emergency for the snowstorm. And I want to thank our emergency management group. I think they did an amazing job of taking care of the They opened up the armory here, and I think there were 5 people in the armory here, but the Ellendale Community Center, I believe, had 25 people in it that were there. So I want to thank them for all their work. On the 17th, we have Public Safety, and I also had Minbury Finance and Joint Powers Board. On the 18th, I had the Smart Bus meeting in Albert Lee, and we also had a waste haulers meeting that afternoon. On the 19th, I attended the Owatonna Chamber. They had a breakfast for healthcare concerns, and it was representatives from Alina, Mayo, and Olmsted. It was an interesting conversation, to say the least. So it was well attended and very well done. And the 24th today, we have the CIP discussion and the work session before this meeting.
Thank you, Greg. Jim?
Mr. Chair, on the 10th, I attended the Steele County Soil and Water Conservation District meeting. I also was at the emergency meeting for the county on the 16th. I sat in on the public safety meeting on the 17th, and I attended the waste haulers meeting on the 18th.
Thank you. Renee?
We had our monthly meeting with the Minute Project Management Team on being able to get all of the systems. There's like 22 or 23 business operating systems that need to be stood up for Steele to go on its own. The team that represents Minute was very disappointing in this meeting, because they're like, well, we've looked at this and we've looked at that, and we think that we'll have the project finished sometime first quarter 2027. I mean, like, that's unacceptable. I need a date certain. We gave you that date certain because this is what worked for us. And they were like, well, don't you think it would be okay if we set a date and then we don't make it? And I'm like, no, because we've got third-party contractors, we've got staff and employees, and after December 31, we don't have a contract with Minbury any longer. This is not gonna work. So we will definitely be reaching out to some resources. We might need your assistance to start putting some pressure on our local elected officials to reach out to the Commissioner of Human Services and the Commissioner of DCYF to say that they need to make this happen because they have an obligation to support us, and our go live date is 1/1/27. So, I'm not too sure where this is gonna take us, but HOA is definitely looking into their kind of Rolodex of key contacts. Definitely looking for this to be bipartisan. And I get the impression that there's just not a lot of interest in taking this and just getting it done. It's like, well, we gotta do this. And it sounded more like excuses than anything. And Rob was on that call. I don't know if you.
Yeah, just to follow up on that, I have sent an email, which will be sent via letter as well to the commissioners of Human Services and Department of Children and Families, as well as the Minute Commissioner, managers of the departments within those, the Minute. Likewise, asking our senators to engage the state commissioners. There are some legal avenues that we can explore should we not get a response. And so those two, if I don't get a response or assurances from the state, they need to comply with their end of providing human services.
Did they express why the holdup? Or is it
It's not a
just-
priority for minutes at this time.
Okay, a little more pressure.
Do you have anything else, Renee?
No, that's it.
Thank you. Yeah.
CIP meeting or work session today, and our work session for this meeting was vacation, so thank you all for covering in my absence. I appreciate that.
Josh?
On the 16th, I was also at the emergency ratification meeting. On the 18th, at the landfill hauler meeting. On the 23rd, we had Spiro. 24th, we had the CIP meeting today, and then work session.
Thank you. I attended the Bloom Prairie Township annual meeting, waste hauler meeting, declaration of emergency meeting, Beaver Lake open house for the road there, the History Center meeting last night, and the CIP meeting today. This time, do we adjourn or?
Recess?
You're gonna recess till 6 o'clock.
Oh, yes, recess till 6 o'clock. At 6 o'clock, we have the public hearing for ordinance number 43, limiting firearms allowed for deer hunting in Steele County. So, until 6 o'clock, we'll recess.
Oh, we going that far. That one is reader?
There's a public hearing always. Sometimes it happens.
Well, I still got more work to do.
Hey, while you're here,
I've been fighting for months.
I'm gonna send, no, I'm just gonna send you.
That's funny. Dave even comes back when you sit around and go hard and you're like, hey Dave, how you doing today? 12 weeks. This is what I'm waiting
This is the projector that we got.
Oh, okay.
Good evening. I was kind of waiting on that.
Well, have fun.
The original amendment ordinance 42 that passed in November 25th, 2025.
Seen anything.
No, that's correct. This is the original amended This is the original amended 42 ordinance that passed in November of 2025. We recorded the wrong. So I'm in the process of recording the correct one, so.
They opened it up. All these are open. Smaller is open. They do their Homestead County. My son, brother-in-law was there. He said, yes. He was actually. I just found out that tonight.
Yeah, he's basically this one. There might be, I have to. Yeah.
But they. No, Homestead guy.
Okay, we're gonna have these signed this one.
Yeah, I just found out my son-in-law, brother-in-law.
What's that?
We have to get them to authorize it.
Well, I see kind of approved. A lot of these companies.
This is the engineering.
How do you know when you step over the
For the railroad. That thing that's on consent. Preliminary engineering services.
It's open for the whole state.
This is the jail service agreement. Okay, they don't send anybody else to authorize that.
He wants too many car deer hits.
That was on,
Did find
turnkey. This is the, from the facility telephone and video station.
Yeah, it was set up in there.
Oh, was it here?
Set up here?
Crystal, that's what it was.
Yeah, Brandon, Ron, and Jake were all here to answer questions and present.
The Beaver Lake
Yeah.
and the engineers are here. Those two show.
We were just talking. I didn't know anything about it.
So,
Did it show the new?
so this is the minutes. Work session.
I can't believe I'm one that we're not a license.
They're
Going to school for it. They're not
That's
licensed.
the board package.
They're licensed. Our Tracy's grandkids are in the system. They were back there, mom, they said, why is she changing?
Emergency meeting.
This change, it's a dozen meetings.
Those. Those.
Never know. Nice to meet you.
Easy.
There was more than if you wanted to sometime come in, or better yet, do you want to sign a bunch of paper? And I'll try and put your signature and then people sign it, stand based on the minutes. Because if it's approved, we have in the minutes, I can drop your signature on, that's the goal, and then drop it right there.
Oh.
So, did you want to?
I can do that, I guess. Whatever you do. I don't mind signing them.
Well, that's why.
Well, the good news is
Inquiry, the
You don't have to wait, you don't have to do it right
And adopted one one
And-
twenty-seven as our goal line date. We are just in the process of
Then it would be
identifying our service delivery models.
for the public that goes out and searches the documents. And they want to sign a copy, they will be signed in Civic Plus. Right now, we're doing so they're here. We take care of it. Let's see if I can find a sheet. Look at this, it's a big enough sheet of paper on the
The
bottom.
company called HMA, and it's made up of former
I'm gonna scan it,
services director
create a PDF.
from Olmsted County, from Dakota County, from Scott County, and people that have worked in
Look at that.
So I've been very confident in
So
their
sign meeting where
approach
I'm not supposed
to
to.
identifying what are the essential services we need to make,
It's not gonna be
and
so
how can we provide those services to
There's a lot of
optimize
work.
collaboration and coordination with our community partners.
Are you doing the Stockwell?
I'm well. I'm sitting here struggling.
Struggling with what?
I can't call you chairman, I can't call you Mr. Glenn, I've never called you those things in my life.
What do you usually call it?
Haas.
What do you call him?
It's the only name I've ever known him by.
So it's been my nickname forever.
Well, at least since high school.
In
Yeah.
June 24.
So-
Sure, it's your busy time of year, huh?
I know, I didn't realize this meeting was at 6, I
You could've got a
skied it
couple
off at
research
5,
done,
I'd
yeah.
probably go back to work and get some more stuff done and come back. But,
Missing you too.
I don't know. How you been?
Okay. Folks Plains.
Bless. Wouldn't want you to complain.
Right. Not as good, not as good as you, obviously, but
Well, I'm always good, I don't have time to do anything other than work.
I'm looking at that.
It's,
Yeah.
it's broken a little bit.
Films.
Yeah, just pick there.
Yes. That's to see everybody
They
else.
spend more time not trying to pick up.
First of all, it's really cool. Second of all,
That's nothing
Well, that would be staff's recommendation
believe
to
that.
adopt.
as it takes it to the bottom.
They're lost. They're not
If
losing
that's,
anything.
if that's the
Right?
direction. I've had it for about, I wanna say,
Express.
2 years or so, and like, in the last couple of months, it started.
Just started.
I got on Amazon, it's like $10, so.
Well,
I know UPS switched everything to Rochester, and it really rough.
I
like it.
So much service.
Not many. Yeah, Jay, my driver, I think he's my place. He's from-
So do you, I can ask a question?
Verbal.
Do you need the agenda? Can you look at the agenda before you come?
The shot.
I just wanna go on to the.
Yeah, I don't And so I don't have anybody else there. You could be the first one.
Tear him right now.
Instead of us being new, right? I just go out there and say, has anyone registered,
So when the
you know,
20th,
to
they're
get
gonna give me
agendas and let you know right now. And then you
They
don't
didn't even
look it up on the internet. So anyway, but yeah, it's interesting.
Well, one that I did, one that I was the federal school board.
So, yeah,
It's
That's because I've been there, so, but I do
how many times we get in
Okay.
there?
your job.
I've been there for a year and a
Still
half.
talk about your job.
Oh, so,
When I went
they
to
put you on the list?
Yeah, I think after,
Some of them
like,
were
the first like 6 months. Okay, here you go, wait. Something like that.
I'm gonna have to go out there and see
It never caused it, just flares up.
because.
Now, they took an MRI. Well, I gotta.
Yeah, we're gonna have it.
Yeah.
Since it got
And
half.
we'll look soon.
You never know.
Continue.
Yeah, it'll be fun. And I'm hoping it makes things easier.
Grandkids now. Oldest one's 5.
So let's see.
Dean's just got 2, we got, well, it'll be 1 next, early next week, and then 3 weeks after that, the next one, 3.
Oh, right.
So, they're still shaker.
Frank told me that.
We're not running quite so much yet.
Right.
I got one that's 7 and one that's 10. We are running constant.
That's because they're in lots of events.
Oh, Saturday, we sat in bleachers for 5 hours at a wrestling tournament. With a 7-year-old.
Nothing better.
Yeah.
At least it's the right
We've done that a
sport.
lot, right, yeah.
That was regions, now next week is state.
Days.
I think my diet between basketball players and wrestlers. Had hot dogs and popcorn, and I went home many days a week. Dinner. Sometimes you luck on that walking time or something.
Regions was held at Orono High School.
Is it NYWA or is it?
I don't know, I can't remember which one it is.
Fair enough.
Yeah, anyway, there must have been 600 little kids running around that mat from K through 6th grade. It was just organized chaos, but they ran it really well. It was really organized, but man, just.
The good old days.
Yeah, then it's gone, you miss it.
And our 10-year-old, he was into basketball. They're in the Mankato School District. 3 teams that went up to, 3 4th grade teams that went up to the state tournament all won their brackets.
Oh, it did?
That's done now. But now he's on the Mankato AAA traveling baseball teams.
Yeah, hoping on that 7-year-old would be beating up the 10-year-old. Wrestlers do basketball players.
I said our 7-year-old loves wrestling because his brother doesn't do it.
Well, that could be.
It's his own
It's
sport.
his own thing.
And he's pretty good at it.
Yeah, we spend a lot of time doing that stuff.
It was fun. I meet some pretty cool people.
Yep.
There was one dad there on Saturday, I wanted to have the officials go talk.
I was gonna be one of them, especially wrestling.
Usually more than one.
Yeah, this was just so blatant. His son lost, and he was evidently a little temperamental. He started crying, and the dad took him off to the side and just shook him. And I about lost it. And I just,
For crying or for losing?
I think it was a combination of both. I mean,
If it was for
he
crying,
was
I'm all
just.
right with it, but if it was for
He was
losing,
just,
I gotta talk.
yeah, but he was just screaming at the kid. I mean, and the poor kid was just shaking.
They would quit wrestling if they do that.
That's what'll happen. People will be
I'm guessing the dad was probably a really good wrestler when he was in school.
Or relive it as, grind it.
I remember one tizzy. My mom had me by the ear. That was the last tizzy. How long you been the chairman?
Just starting this year.
Just, is that a rotating thing?
Yeah.
Rotating term?
This is my 3rd time.
This chairman? You get, was it a 4-year term?
But, Mimi did go through the chair, so usually people 5. But that's how I ended up doing it 3 times.
Yeah, and he went along to the chair.
Oh.
She's my crew.
Yeah.
She's right to school bus with her.
Oh, right.
Did she behave herself?
What's yours?
You gotta remember that some of us got older siblings and stuff, and, yeah, there was always an element of protection built in. So,
Yeah.
she had older. How are you, Rebecca?
Good, how are you, Mike?
Not bad.
Oh, good, good to hear.
You keep doing this for life?
No, oh heavens.
You gonna make it?
No.
It's fun though, I do this in township.
Well,
Eating some
Yeah,
soup
so I
and
do
going
that
to
when I do this.
How long has this been going on?
So.
Since Friday. I mean,
It's a
it's been,
government thing.
like
you know.
Friday it was serious heartburn. Saturday it was starting nausea. And then
Derek is doing
Sunday it
excellent.
was
He works
feeling
for
like I
US
had
Bank
low
as
blood
one
sugar.
of those people that
And then
evaluates businesses.
yesterday,
Actuary and whatever
I
that
came in,
is.
said a couple meetings,
And.
and I actually crashed down in the mother's room Friday walk on. I'm just gonna lay in the dark and hopefully that,
And we're
and it did give me some help, because I went into it for another hour today before
Yeah, they look at his work
meeting
history.
rolled and felt a little
But yeah,
better,
we're,
but it's
he's
like,
home.
my head is
You
fuzzy.
have no color.
Oh, at least it
Yeah.
Just white.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
that stinks.
slurring and I'm not tracking.
I
well.
wanted
It's like-
to, but then, you know, I
My
can't
brain
use my
just feels fuzzy.
influence, you know? But
I've been
otherwise,
texting
right,
my
he is
doctor and-
on his retirement
It doesn't
side.
really sound
Is
like
he
much.
done or he's almost there?
He
The
took,
butter.
he took a job 2 minutes from the house. So he's no longer driving. And all 60-hour work weeks, and I said, but, so let's see what happens.
Well, that's a lot of overtime, you can deduct that, you don't have to pay taxes on overtime.
No, but it costs another $30. You know, all the laws and stuff.
How are you? Physical therapy.
Well, I normally don't
You
have
have it down there?
county, but the township.
All your surgery.
What's
Yep.
Yeah.
Percent?
Yes.
Start my
Stay
own.
late.
Yeah, so I took
Before
out
the time.
April 3rd off Good Friday, so I can call out to workers. Get it figured out, because I have to make the first payment.
Our work comp won't help you.
Yeah.
Plenty.
Oh, I'm sorry, unemployment office, yeah, sorry. So, but yeah. See, all mixed up. Is it? I just, well, and they've been really good here, but you know, I finally don't, I don't understand. I come here to hire an accounting firm, like, you know, pay her. Yeah. But now I gotta find, I gotta find so maybe to step out.
How many people are on this payroll?
5 elected and 3 and elected, but I didn't understand, is the elected have to, go this way? We have to pay separately?
Yeah, there's a paid leave only account and a paid leave joint account.
Yeah, and I didn't realize. See, I've already made one phone call, sorry, so I figured, I'll just let you know.
Once you vote for everybody's paid from every week, you're fine.
That's what I'm.
That's all you gotta do, just figure out what to pay when you get to the end. You got until April 31st.
Well, I have to board supervisors on the second Tuesday. I would check, but then if I still have a problem, I'll just.
$3
sign it later. But that was gonna be another time. Cause aren't you know, seriously,
You're whining to the wrong person.
I'm not whining, I'm stating the facts. It is.
I know it's expensive, I've been buying it for 30-some years.
Oh, that's right.
So I know how expensive it is. If it was reasonable, my standard of living would be significantly different.
Steak. Versus hamburger.
Well, more hamburger.
Wait a second, hamburgers up there about like $8, $9 a pound.
Office desk down there. I still.
How's the family?
Put your back.
For the most part, really good.
Bonnie said, well, what did
We
you
had
do?
those- we
I
had
stood out from my chair.
Nothing, yeah.
learning experiences.
That's, yeah, no, it's something.
And I got another physical therapy session tomorrow. He said to me yesterday, he said, you better call your surgeon, it's got this one, it's gonna plan. Oh, really? I don't want it. That would be
Kind of hard.
I can't keep going. That's the pain, it's just.
Yeah.
It's on
Yeah.
you? Oh, I never had that.
Have 10 months of planning dreams and doing bets and thinking how it's gonna be, and then that's not part of the process. It's hard. But they're all on college, one now, my third one graduated with his master's degree in May, so then all college will be done for everybody. Got 3 of them married, just got one left to get married.
Where are they all living?
My oldest is down in Kansas City, Kansas.
Okay.
And my second one is in Atlanta. And then both my boys are in Milwaukee area.
Oh.
Yes, none of them here or coming back.
What did that happen, Saturday?
No, I don't, my husband, I was supposed to visit.
No, it's a shithole.
Were you shoveling some of that heavy snow? No. Just,
You
I
don't
stood
like
up.
Atlanta?
No.
It's one of my favorite places to visit.
I fly into the airport.
No,
Well, you
fortunately.
can add and embellish just to make it sound a little bit better.
Yeah, and it's just,
predation.
The rat running
She's
through the
got a
room
baby.
or the sky
I
falling.
don't mind that.
Oh, I can't think of better stories than that to tell.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, cause I like the vegetation, that's the first thing that I'm attracted to.
It's green.
It actually is the thicker leaves and it's
It's gotta
deciduous.
protect itself from the sun and the smog.
And then, and I find the people fascinating and wonderful.
I don't mind the people, just too many of them.
There's a lot of people. If you go, the next time you visit, go to Fernbrook. That's a museum. Have you? And we, tried to walk from Olympic Square to Fernbrook. I thought it was just a couple of miles.
It's not the walking thing.
And we walked through a neighborhood we probably should not have walked through. And we ended up stopping at a church and asking for assistance to get a cab so we could go to this.
That was my last try.
Yeah, it was actually because we were being started to follow. And we got a little, I mean, we're kids, they were small. They were maybe 8 and 10. And you knew it was bad when somebody said, what are names? But they my kids loved the Coastline. I didn't get to go. They saw the homeless you know, which I thought was, they needed to see that. Because you don't see that here. Well, back then, you didn't see that.
Right, you can see it now.
And then what?
What are you gonna do?
Well, so my older boy went to Milwaukee School of Engineering. He had his undergraduate degree career. And then his wife. Her family was in So she graduated from Milwaukee, she had a good job. She worked on she went to grad school. We'll see if they're going to go anywhere, but they're expecting in July. So that'll be their next graduation event for that. Graduation day, will be in July. Hopefully somewhere there's a job in the future. Yeah, is there anybody that's put a restriction on? Is there any counties that put a restriction?
They have
Not that it.
Oh, there was
That's
one.
what's on this board now.
We have update on
They
that.
lost one.
Trying to think of which one it was.
And all of their
I
friends.
thought it was way up in the western part of the
You
city.
know, so bad. But now she's
But they'll say
doing
no, just follow it.
so and getting closer.
Just those are party motions.
You run home?
Yeah.
You could have.
And I'm gonna take it.
Brought it back to Sam.
Never seen it before.
Just in case. My son's so worried about Henry. I'll go. I figured if I paid the rent, we use it, but no.
Yeah, my youngest one was over, went to college over there and played college football and Waukesha. And he graduated this last, this May of
25.
so he's working. He is in
That's why we're doing it.
Well,
I thought it was gonna be better.
I did too.
I'm agreed. A company car.
Yeah, everything's good.
22-year-old gets a company car.
Yeah, Jim's one day.
Yep.
Oh, Oh, so you still see my daughter?
I do occasionally.
He's calling your text. I was doing
She was in Costa Rica.
That's too bad, I don't,
She
I don't want
lives
to
in
go.
Costa Rica. I figured maybe someday I would visit her.
Easy to. You know,
She didn't apparently, so I was gonna try and get her phone number. Because of her grandmother.
That's about it.
Asking her for a picture.
The only thing.
And the baby boy.
Suicide.
Oh my gosh. And Aaron was in Russia. She's not.
I still.
Did all these interiors into our house a lot, right? You know, slap them. Furniture. All I have is that. Yeah. Oh, he's, and he comes with all the. And his wife is now retired, Bonnie, and then.
Well, I'm not divorced with, I'm just here to listen.
Yeah. During the day.
Now, the first year I had it, my son-in-law's dad was on the South Line Fest, right this morning, and he seemed to get around all the time, rich, but all day long. I mean, he said, you see this.
And we have a stand right there too.
And they were on the, right on the river. It was interesting. I didn't go out till most of them after I was fishing out there. I heard that. Drove up the road, came up. Nice.
We did stop yesterday and went to and I had maybe if we take
Tom.
about 100 and come back. Maybe and see if he did double as long as he wanted. He told me on the phone that he doubles at 6:50.
I usually.
Yeah. That's what I use in my last time.
No. She's a can. Just don't
I found out, like I said, been doing it long enough for
No, not like the.
I worked for 68 years, 1996 Creed, when ours was in 2005.
Anybody got a joke?
It's pretty wide open.
Yeah.
Like about Republicans and Democrats? That kind of joke? I got a couple. I don't know what's the right spot. Right, right.
I can read that.
I do have a good
Let's hear it.
My neighbor came over,
to my dad's place, and he says, I can't get rid of the skunks, I'm gonna eat my pork. Dad said, why don't you put some lutefisk underneath? So she did, and a couple weeks later, she came back and said, "What, did you get rid of the skunk?" "Yeah, but I can't get rid of the goddamn Norwegians."
Thank you.
Be careful what you ask for. Yeah. That's about as clean as I got.
Well, then you'll probably appreciate this. My grandmother insisted on making lutefisk every Christmas Eve because that's what Grandpa wanted. I think they had been married almost 70 years before Grandpa got up the gumption to tell her he hates lutefisk. Always has. So all of us got stuck. Yeah. To which then I learned the saying that you can tell a Norwegian, but you can't tell them much.
My grandmother, when she passed, in her will, her son-in-law had to have lutefisk on her funeral. And down there, she had it right in there. He was eating lutefisk at her funeral. I thought that was hilarious. Smelled up the whole basement, but she was eating.
Everybody left right after the service.
Yeah, the best part was he's a little chunky Irishman from the Twin Cities. Oh, God. He did it, she had a little spike left in her, at her last will testament. It was just hilarious. I hear so many of them. I hear everybody.
I appreciate that. Usually I don't get any calls, but I'm sitting like this. You know, you can tell us when it was made.
Yeah. I heard you're a local. Yeah, that's my cousin. Cousin.
I live right by.
No, Dave. Don. He's the one.
Well, 6 o'clock, we'll open the public hearing for ordinance number 43, limiting firearms allowed for deer hunting in Steele County. The public hearing topic will be explained in the presentation.
I don't know, Rob, if you want to kick it off, but I want to start out with just a cautionary message that just because there's an ordinance in the packet doesn't mean that this decision has been predetermined. When we ask the board to consider an ordinance, we want them to see the language that's contained. So I just wanted to assure everyone that the board is not predetermined by the fact that there was an ordinance. So as you're aware, if you looked at this topic, the state legislature approved a statute last year that turned the entire state into rifle only, but it did give individual counties the opportunity to adopt a shotgun only or some variation of that. But they would have have to be done by ordinance. The board received a pretty comprehensive packet of information at its March 10th work session. So if you hadn't looked at the agendas prior to tonight, I would encourage you to look at the March 10th agenda, that we had information from Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, some materials, some historic data from the Association of Minnesota Counties. We wanted to make sure that the board had the research, the analysis, and hopefully a pretty broad-based either summary or collection of articles on this particular topic. We did receive comments in writing, and we'll make sure that those get added into the record after the live testimony is given. We'll actually start out with a motion by the board to start the public hearing, and then you'll all be given the opportunity to speak if you choose to do so. We'll have you come up to the podium and please give your name and address, and then you'll be able to give your comments or your statements. And then as you complete, please return to your chair, and then the board will recognize the next speaker. Rob, was there anything further that you wanted to add?
The board is not required tonight to make a decision. Should we choose to take no action, well, I mean, we really have several choices. One is to take no action and table the matter to a future meeting. Take affirmative action to say that no ordinance will be adopted. There's a possibility, or you could adopt the ordinance as proposed tonight, or you could ask staff to revise the ordinance with any modifications. As we talked about at the last meeting, the DNR, should the board adopt an ordinance, the DNR needs to be notified of that, so we get into the regulation book. And if they would enforce shotgun only, but they would not enforce, if they made more particulars than what's been outlined in the proposed ordinance. But the county does have that option, the board does have that option. And it would be enforceable through county ordinance, and which is enforceable by, generally police officers and DNR officers.
Mr. Chair. So I assume there's some sort of timeline. You're saying the next county board meeting we can make the decision if we don't decide tonight?
Correct. I would say, sorry, I have to go look back to see what the deadline the DNR gave us.
May
first. And then also at the last board meeting, we asked for an update from the other counties. I should have a meeting tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock with the other county attorneys. So I'll have a detailed list of who's doing what after tomorrow morning meeting. I'll get that to your emails and put it in the record tomorrow. Kind of summarizing what other counties have chosen to do or not do as of tomorrow.
Thank you, Rob. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. So at this time, if you'd like to come up and make a testimony, please, like Renee said, please state your name and address and for the record, and you're welcome to come up and speak. Anybody like to come up?
Jared Schiller, 3078 South County Road 45. I did send a letter in. I didn't know. I appreciate you guys taking the time to hear us. I did send a letter in. Didn't know if I was going to be able to make it tonight. My biggest concern with adopting an ordinance is the 10-year-old at home. As you know, shotgun slug is going to have quite a bit more recoil. My son does really well shooting rifles. I actually have an AR pistol that he shot his first deer with last year, which is completely legal in a shotgun zone. So you can get around this so-called ordinance by building pistols in many different calibers that already fire rifle rounds. The only difference is cosmetics of the firearm. And nowadays with modern weapons, you have muzzleloaders that are good to 400 to 500 yards. Modern slug guns are good out to 250, 300 yards. One of the other things that's nice with a young child when you're trying to get into hunting is shotguns don't offer any type of suppressor or hearing protection, whereas when you have a rifle, many different suppressors that make it hearing safe for your child. Not that I don't still have the hearing protection on my child, but it takes down some of that sound. I just think by limiting to shotguns only, you can already use rifles for so many other things, whether it's target shooting, coyote hunting, and as far as I know, we haven't seen any safety concerns. And if they are safety concerns, that should be addressed in hunter education courses. I just think that by limiting firearms, you can already get around a lot of it by building a pistol and a rifle caliber, and you're shooting that rifle bullet anyways. Thank you.
Thank you, Jared. Anybody else like to speak? Bill?
Hi, everyone. I'm Bill Zahara, 9116 Dane Road. And actually, there's 50 states in this beloved union. There's 4 states, including us, that have some shotgun regulation. Wisconsin, as to up just a few years ago, they had shotgun zones and they did away with it. They didn't go back to shotgun zones after doing away with it. The reason was the rate of incident and accident actually went down. You can look it up. It actually went down. And there are reasons for that too. The ballistic inefficiency of a shotgun, you get an awful lot of people who may be just blasting around. The precise and accuracy of a rifle allows for a solid one-shot kill in a lot of situations. Might there be some people out there? Well, as the saying goes, you can't legislate stupidity. However, as one guy up in the Alexandria region said, it was pretty interesting. I get both shotgun kills with the deer and I get rifle kills. A lot of those shotgun kills come in with 4 or 5 slugs that have hit them. A lot of the rifle kills have 1. And he said, you know what, those 4 or 5 kills on those deer, or 4 or 5 shots, I bet there was another 4 or 5 shots that were fired at the deer too. So, if you look at it from an objective, factual standpoint, at first glance it may appear that the rifles are dangerous. Well, we hunt coyotes at night by the light of the moon with them, in the middle of the night. And the states that have gone to rifle, they actually have stayed with rifle. There's not one state that reverted back and said, whoa, this is too dangerous, we have to go back to shotgun. That's my position. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Anybody else like to speak? No more Joe.
No, I won't call you.
Good evening, I'm Brian Wilkin, 4224 50th Street Northwest, 5 Bedford up there. I'm 100% for the rifle, and this is the reason why. Our Colt, he just said basically it's a safer route. You know, I've talked to a few people and he brought that up where if somebody's shooting there, you just got 4 or 5 rounds in a deer, where you got 1 with a rifle. And you get right down to it. We're in a wide open area. Most of the people we're on private ground anyway. Everybody knows where everybody's sitting. The thing is the inexperienced people walking around, the ones we gotta keep an eye out, or hunters that haven't taken the firearm safety class to get your license. It gets down to be how many more deer hits we need to, how many more deer get hit by cars down the road, or how many wounded deer after shooting shotgun they don't get it, and they wanders out and then dies on the road. I've seen a lot of that in just this fall already. Because when I was doing some ripping down by Hope, I seen deer that just laying dead in the middle of the field. They were shot during opening day
And nobody retrieved them because they took off and died. They couldn't find them again, no blood trace. So it gets right down to it where you want to be able to harvest deer for meat, or some people want the big racks. Personally, I like the meat. Cook them with chili and stuff, it's pretty good. Or beer sticks, I call them. But, well, maybe a lot of beer sticks. But it gets right down to it. Everybody's got a rifle. And we're all I like coyote hunting too, and we're doing it at night. I also do it during the day. But the people that are also coyote hunting are the same people that are also deer hunting. Also, they're really good shots. I'm prior service. I've shot every possible weapon there is out there and ever been done. And to get people, and we got to be able to get kids active in the sport of hunting again, or get off their phones. How are we going to get people active and get into the shooting sports or even fishing? When somebody brought up that the kids are not getting active anymore. If we can get them into doing stuff proactive, and we see all these school shootings going on. Kids have no clue what they're doing. All they said is the video games, blah, blah, blah. We got to be able to be proactive and get these kids and see what actual life is about, and then getting them out in the outdoors. So that's all I got to say. But and then when I also brought up to some people, these people shooting, and all you do is see deer, bang, 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 bang. You got deer running. Well, if you can reach out and touch it, you only got one shot, one kill, like a sniper be like a sniper. But we're all professionals here. We all have jobs. We all have our way of life. But just to get out there and see deer is rewarding. But as of 20 years ago, there's not as many deer hunters as there was 20 years ago. Now, I'll be lucky if I see 5-6 cars all day long when you're doing it. And I also do shotgun, and I also do muzzle loading seasons. And if we can get more deer harvested and get sold, cars don't get hit by deer, it makes life, and probably piss off the auto prices. And secondly, how are you going to enforce it? Waseca County adopted rifle only. And Dodge County right now is having the same meeting as we are tonight. So how are you going to enforce that when you're on the county line, like where I deer hunt? It's going to be big. So they shoot a deer on our side with a rifle, and I understand they're going to go over and you got to retrieve it. But are they going to get tagged too before going after a deer because they shot a deer on our side? The county, it has to be all or nothing. Or it should be up to the hunter. If he wants to shoot a shotgun, go for it, let him hunt. But it also becomes a Second Amendment enforcement. It's our right as a United States citizens to be able to have firearms that we want to shoot, or have under capacity or muzzle capacity. But I understand shooting hollow point shells and stuff like that, that's what we want. We don't want a steel tip shell or ammo or hard tip shell for shooting deer. We want a soft tip so that we can be able to drop it down. And that's how we're going to eliminate a lot of our problems. And if you have a problem, you address it on the spot or fine or whatever. But as a group, we should be able to go out and hunt what we want to do. It's our rights. So that's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Is there any other public comment?
Howard Gilson, 509 Southeast 64th Avenue. I think I'm definitely in the minority here. I live in the country, and I really hesitate to see a rifle from the statistics that I've seen, and I don't know if you can believe what you read on the internet, but the practical range for a rifle is 300 to 400 yards. For a shotgun, 75 to 150. I don't know if that's true. I'm not a hunter, never fired a shotgun or a rifle. I don't know what the statistics are. But when I'm out in the country and I see 3 or 4 pickups and cars with the hunters with their orange and red blaze outfits unloading, and I hear rifles or shotguns going, the noise, I suppose it's a shotgun right now. I cringe because we have a lot of deer going through our property, and I don't wanna see somebody get shot in our property. There's a rule against shooting deer in town, I believe. In fact, I don't think you can legally probably use a bow and arrow in town. Why? Because the chance of somebody being shot. That's my opinion, and I know I'm in the minority, but I wanted to be heard anyway. Thank you.
Thank you, Howard. Anybody else like to speak?
My name is Myron Hanson, 2196 Northwest, 82nd. A lot of the points I wanted to mention have already been covered. And the one thing I really hate seeing is the wounded animals out there. I've shot deer that's had holes in their backs. They're gonna die, you know, and it's all from slugs. Rifles are just more accurate, humane kills, and that's the biggest part. A lot of the, like, when they went to shotgun season, it was all about population and to limit hunters' ability to take a kill. So now it's time to go back. I feel it's overdue. It's time to go rifle. And I just wanted to be on record that I'm all for it, so.
Thanks, Myron.
Thank you.
Anybody else like to make public comment?
Good evening. My name is Tony David. My address is 1614 Truman Avenue, Owatonna, Minnesota. I don't really have a lot of skin in the game. I don't hunt deer in this county, but I do teach youth firearm safety through the Minnesota DNR. I've taught since 2009. And what I see, one of my responsibilities as an instructor is I run the range where the kids shoot the .22. So I see all kinds of different body types. And one of the things that I've seen is some of these kids can't handle a slug shotgun, okay? They have a lot of other opportunities as far as options with rifles. Number one thing is safety. I mean, muzzle control, knowing, not shooting at skyline deer, things like that. I've taught over hundreds of kids, and like I said, I don't have a lot of skin in the game, but my argument is just to get the kids other options so that they're able to participate in harvested deer. That's all I have.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.
Anybody else like to make public comment?
Hey there, guys, Josh Allenfeld. Yeah, I got my address, 1845 Fifth Avenue. Sorry. Yeah, well, thank you guys, first of all, for just taking a selfless job and supporting our county and communities. It can't be easy with everything we got going on right now, so I just want to say thank you there. I kind of got into hunting a lot, I don't know, probably 6-7 years ago, and I never really was in it before, and around here with the shotguns and stuff like that, and then I started going down to Texas and go deer hunting. You're using a rifle, and it's such more of an ethical kill. You knew what you were shooting at. You're just not popping off rounds. It's just so much more ethical. I bring my son with me, and he hunts up north too on his grandparents' land, and that's all he's ever shot was rifles up there. So we come down here and hunt. And at first, when he was like 9-10 years old, he was scared to death of that shotgun to throw in his butt. So I just really think the rifles nowadays, like everybody said, it's the cartridge, it's the the accuracy, it's everything what's there. You know what I mean? A slug is so inaccurate, and it's just, it's all over the place. You know, all the hunting I've done, you know, I've traveled the world, fortunately, to go hunting from Alaska to Greenland to New Zealand. I mean, the worst thing that's ever happened to me is I scoped myself, and that was my own damn fault. You know what I mean? So, you know, but I just think it's a good ordinance to have here and be able to adopt, and it's a lot more ethical and a lot more safe. You know, when you're looking through that scope, you know what you're shooting at. You know what I mean? A lot of people are shooting slugs that are just open sights, and you're just winging it off your shoulder. And it's just not the way to do it. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Josh. Any other public comment?
So my name is Benji Hager. I live at 1132 Hawthorne Avenue, and essentially I define myself as what we call just a rule follower. So I mean, with whatever's decided, you know, as long as the sport continues and people are outside, I'm for that. And a lot of the statistical references have been mentioned prior, so I don't have a lot to add on to that. But where I'm at is, you know, hunting has been something in my family for a long time. And right now, due to health and capabilities of my father, using a rifle is probably his last, or pretty much his last stance to go out and try and have a decent shot at something. Because if you're going to sit in a ground blind, even with crossbow enhancements and, you know, legalities, they can now use them, or anyone can. You know, if you're really shooting at deer in a crossbow 30, 40 yards away, but now you're physically unable to get into a deer stand, so now you're resorting to a ground blind, which, yeah, you can get lucky. But sometimes, you know, having something get close to you in a ground blind isn't probable, at least from my experience. And then on top of that, you know, back to the hunting and safety, which, thanks for coming, that's cool. I've always taught that you got to be aware of your target, what's in front of you and what's beyond. And through some of the research that I have done, most of the accidents occur from an unidentified target. So with that being said, whether you have a shotgun or a rifle in your hand, if you have something that you're not sure that you're shooting, well, for one, you probably shouldn't do that. But secondly, this is usually stuff that's so close, so regardless of what's in your hand, the accident can still happen. And my last statement is, you know, thanks for taking the time, and whatever decision's made, I'm good, but I just want it to be a very informed, educated, and well thought out decision, because it's going to affect people on all different platforms, whether it's emotional or statistical or money or getting kids out, whatever it is. So, thank you.
Thanks, Benny. Anybody else like to make public comment? Lon, do you have anything to say?
All right, so my role as your sheriff is public safety. A lot of variety of experience in here tonight, talking about public safety and the do's and don'ts and everything that happens. Being an avid hunter myself, it's all about safety. It's about who can shoot whatever. Talk about the kids and elderly that can't handle shotgun recoil. Rifles are easier. Also talked about how you can transform, what Jared was saying, you can transform certain ones into a rifle velocity. We have a lot of interstate, 24 miles of it. We got 22 miles of Highway 14. If you travel the roads like I do, you see all these deer stands are there. The best thing about it is a lot of those deer stands are facing away from the roads that are doing that. In most cases in our realms of Steele County, the ones that are out there in the deer stands know what they're doing. And they're practicing preaching public safety. And meaning they're hunting safety, I shall say. Once again, my role as your sheriff is making sure that everyone is safe. Doesn't matter if you believe in it or don't believe in it. Educating, training, and understanding the rules of what you can and can't do with whatever you're going to decide on is how I'll enforce along with my team.
But the biggest part right now is just making sure everybody understands what velocities of slugs and rifles do. We're flat land down here in Steele County. And once again, we have a lot of professionals here that know what they're shooting at. It's just the ones that come into Steele County to hunt on borrowed land that might not know. So as long as we are able to educate and understand the ways of the ordinances are going to be, or the state statute will be, I really don't have a say in it other than because I go north hunt. My say is whatever you guys are going to rule on, and we'll enforce it from there. So.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Any other public comment? See none, I'll end the public testimony and entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second. Been a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Any further discussion from the board? Go ahead. Mr. Hebby.
I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. I've heard a lot of interesting facts that I didn't consider. I had a lot of phone calls, as I'm guessing, and you did as well. People are pretty passionate about this. Lon, you hit on it. Mostly, and I'm guessing, but I'm pretty positive what I'm going to say here. Most everybody here is that they're safe hunters. They know what they're doing. It's not you I'm worried about. It's the others that are out there. I heard the term lobbing slugs or shooting at a running deer. Lon, you also hit on a spot there on something I wanted to say. It's the topography of our county. We're pretty flat, like you said. There are some natural backstops or areas that would stop us a stray rifle round. We're not the Dakotas, we're wide open. We're not other areas of the state up north where line hunts or others may hunt where there's lots of woods or areas that could stop a stray bullet. But I'm nervous that, and I don't know which way we're going to vote on this, and I'm not, honestly, I don't even know where I'm at on it. I thought I knew coming into tonight, but I'm nervous that if we say, yeah, go ahead and go with what the state says, allow the rifle, that we're going to get somebody out there, those irresponsible hunters, not you guys, but the others that are going to be lobbing now rifle rounds instead of slug rounds, that are going to carry a mile instead of 300 yards. That's where I get a little nervous about this decision. I get the passion. I'm a hunter. I would love to hunt with a rifle here, but I understand that not everybody is responsible like you folks are. So that's where I'm struggling, and I guess we'll have to hear what everybody else has to say and we'll make a decision here. I don't believe tonight, but at some point we're going to have to make a decision.
Mr. Chair, I again would like to thank everybody for coming tonight. Even if you didn't speak, you showed that you want to be involved. And I appreciate your comments about the county board. I would like to table this until we get Rob's report coming back from all the other counties around us to see where they all sit on it, because I think there is some continuity that needs to be involved with some of this stuff, and that would be my recommendation, is that we just wait to see what Rob finds out from the other counties.
That'd be great. Anything else from the board?
Yeah, sure, I'd like to speak. I appreciate everybody's sincerity when they talk. And I've had numerous calls from people talking to me, and every one of them, no matter which side of the issue they're on, are very sincere with all their heart. But in the end, we're going to have to make a decision here. And I probably talked to probably a dozen people on the phone over the last 2.5 months. And I can firmly tell you that I got my mind made up. We can wait till whenever, but everybody I talk to, might be some of you guys that are in here tonight that I talked to on the phone, and I gave my position, and I've hunted rifle in northern Minnesota, I've hunted rifle in Wisconsin, I've probably shot 50 deer totally, and I shoot, I've gone fox hunting with a rifle, 243 in the wintertime, crawling out bipods, shooting 1,000 feet across the field, you know. And what really scared me then is I'm shooting at that fox lane out there on the ridge across, way across, and I miss it, and then I can watch my old shell take a, and then take another, two skips. And that's the part that really scared me. You go home, then I thought, geez, there's some place down there. How far is this stupid thing gonna go? You know, and hope you don't hear no call or hear nothing. And at that point in my life, I said, shooting that fox ain't worth it. I'm not gonna do that. And so we got about 150 pages of stuff from Wisconsin and southern state, Pennsylvania, to read all the stuff. And then I read that, and, you know, I didn't swallow everything they were telling me, but it just, I went to Medford School, and it seems to reason to me that, you know, you can, if a 30-06 not hitting nothing, you go up to 3.3 miles, and I've never had a problem shooting deer with my shotgun, and with these new slugs and stuff, they got scopes on, they're accurate. But I've been out there in the field, like the rest of you. I live in the front line. I'll be where the shooting goes on, and geez, it's just, I'm myself. Where I'm situated, I don't like that idea. Shotgun, I feel safe in my house right during season, but with a rifle, I wouldn't feel that way. But like I said, I've been there. I know what happens. I know what happens. I've been there when the big buck comes out of the cornfield and goes running. Oh, you never seen him like that. Yeah, I was right there shooting the shotgun. Boom, boom, boom on the run. And I've heard it several times. Everybody empty. Boom, 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 boom. Emptying their guns when you're out deer hunting. Everybody's heard it. What if it was a rifle and they're shooting a moving deer like that, and they ain't looking behind the deer? They can't. So, just for my own, I don't know how everybody's gonna vote, but I know how I'm gonna vote. I told those people how I felt about it, and I talked with, like I say, a dozen of them, and I know they're sincere, and I'm sincere too. So, but when this does happen, I'm gonna be voting against it. That's just my thoughts.
Thank you, Jim. Josh, got anything?
No, I did say thanks for coming too, but I'm not a hunter. I haven't hunted for 20 plus years. I will say that when we first came into this, that, you know, my perception was like Jim says, but after all the information and everything, all the stats that we've heard, I'd have a hard time voting against it, I guess. I feel like it is safer. I feel like it is more ethical. I do feel like, I mean, I live in town, but I see lots of deer in my backyard, and I just think it's the right way to go. That's my opinion, but we'll see how it goes.
One more quick thing. Now, all you guys out there, you sound like great, devoted, responsible hunters, and I'm sure you are. And I'm not, when I go hunting, I'm not worried about me. I'm worried about the other guy. But the DNR, let's face it, the DNR civilizes anybody. That's just the way they are, and that's the scary part.
The other thing I'd say though is, I do feel like there is some self-responsibility in it, that if you're out there hunting, you should be willing to take that responsibility, and that's not up to us. I think the state has made the decision, and I would support that.
In the pamphlets that we got, I mean, there's pages and pages from Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. They say the leading cause of injury is people falling out of a deer stand. Yeah. And the second leading cause of injury is people in close proximity getting shot. So there's a lot of information out there, and I think we all want to make an educated decision. And I appreciate your guys' input on this. And I guess we'll find out what Rob has to say tomorrow, and we'll make a decision probably next meeting, you have to say?
I mean, if that's the motion on, I think you should ask a motion for that. To table it, I think the best option, and set it for next year, or next.
And the motion does need to indicate a date certain for the tabling. And the first meeting in April, that was the 7th. So if
7th
you-
of April.
Yep.
I will make that motion, we table this for more information and, bring it back up on April 7th.
Fourteen.
Oh, that is
The second Tuesday?
So it will be April 14th.
14th?
Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Motion and a second, is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. I'd like to thank you all again for coming on, your input and, your phone calls and everything else. Now I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Moved and second, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign, motion carries.